good evening. Welcome to FA Cup Live on LFS for the final game of round 5. 7 ties done and dusted, and 7 of our quarter-finalists decided. Just one more to go then in this all-Premier League tie this evening at the City Ground, as high-flying Nottingham Forest, chasing Champions League football this season, face an Ipswich side looking to stay in the Premier League in domestic matters. But it is the distraction of the FA Cup that comes their way tonight, and the gift of a victory tonight will see them rewarded with a trip to Brighton in the quarter-finals. Aston Villa, Palace, Preston, Bournemouth, Man City, Brighton and Fulham all booked their places into the quarter-finals over the last couple of days. The draw for the quarter-finals was done yesterday following the long game between Man United and Fulham that ended with Fulham winning on penalties. This was the draw. Fulham taking on Crystal Palace. Aston Villa have a trip to Championship side Preston, the only non-Premier League side in the competition remaining. Bournemouth will host Manchester City, and Brighton will welcome the winners of tonight's game between Nottingham Forest and Ipswich. So, the quarter-finals will be played at the end of this month, but just one more game to go in round 5. Nottingham Forest against Ipswich. As I said, another one of our 4 all-Premier League ties that we witnessed this weekend, and so far 1 home win and 2 away wins in those fixtures. Quite interestingly, all 3 of the previous games involving all Premier League sides all ended up going to either extra time or penalties. So far, 2 penalty shootouts and an extra time finish in the North East. Right, that is the scores are already from this weekend. Villa winning 2-0 against Cardiff. Palace 3-1 winners against Millwall. Preston making easy work of Championship side Burnley, 3-0 victors there. Bournemouth needed penalties to beat Wolves at the Vitality. It was Man City who had to come from behind against Championship Plymouth to win 3-1. Brighton needed an extra time winner from Danny Welbeck to seal their place in the quarterfinals, and Fulham took it all the way to penalties, and Manchester United, the holders, were knocked out at Old Trafford yesterday by the Cottagers and Marco Silva. Right, let's head back here to the City Ground. Let's have a look at the team news then for this one this evening. Starting with the home side, Matt Sells starts in goal. A back 4 of Ola Aina, Murillo, Morato and Alex Moreno. That's going to get easy to say. In a back 4, Ryan Yates is the captain. He's alongside Danilo and Ibrahim Sangare in midfield. Anthony Alanga is on the right hand side. Callum Hudson-Odoi is off the left, and Taiwo Awonyi starts up front. On the bench for Forest, we have Hennessy, Williams, Bowley, Anderson, Gibbs, White, Dominguez, Wood, Silva and Sosa. For Ipswich, struggling to stay in the Premier League this season, but the FA Cup could be a welcome distraction for Kieran McKenna's side. They start with their January signing in goal of Alex Palmer. A back 5 of Ben Johnson, Axel Twanzebe, Luke Wolfenden, Cameron Burgess and Connor Townsend. In midfield, Sam Morsey, the captain. He's in defensive midfield with Massimo Luongo and Jack Taylor alongside him in a midfield 3, with Nathan Broadhead and George Hurst leading the line. On the bench for Ipswich, Murich, O'Shea Greaves, Davis, Philogene Cayuste, Clark, Delap and Tom Taylor on the bench. So an all-Premier League battle at the City Ground. Red v Blue, Forest v Ipswich, and a place in the quarter-final awaits. Who will make it to the last 8? Kick-off at the City Ground is next. A very good evening and welcome to FA Cup Live for a final 5th round tie of the weekends. In our 2 previous ties, we got some great games in Manchester, with City beating Plymouth and of course United knocked out by Fulham on penalties. We've had our fair share of mixed results this weekend, but tonight the home fans here at the City Ground, as they sing the anthem representing this stadium, they will be hoping that their side can get into the quarter-finals, and you never know, a run deep into the FA Cup could be another positive to the many list of positives for Forest this season. As we get underway here at the City Ground, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. I thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening. It's great to have you with us on this Monday night. Busy week of action here on LFS, all right throughout the week. Of course, Champions League action tomorrow on Wednesday night, so we'll tell you more about that a little later on. Ipswich try and get off to a quick start here. Down the right-hand side, the ball into the box by Morsey, but too far away from anyone of any real concern. It'll be a simple gather for Matt Sells, who will take this goal kick. Of course, we know the fortunes of these two sides when it comes to Premier League matters. Nottingham Forest high-flying at this minute in time on 48 points from their 27 league games so far, sitting in third. Only Liverpool and Arsenal higher than them in the table. Ipswich, there are a good 17 teams above them in the table. They're in 18th on just 17 points from 27 games. They're just 5 points off safety where Wolves sit. But at the moment, they're well matched with their relegation battlers in that bottom three. Very different fortunes Premier League wise, but so far the two have got to this round in the FA Cup. Certainly was a narrow meeting earlier in the season between the two sides here at the City Ground. Aina got on the end of that ball, but I think it was already out of play. It was through into Ipswich. That meeting between each other here on the 30th of November in the Premier League was their first meeting in 5.5 years since they met in the Championship back in March of 2019. And as I said, Forest narrowly edged that one out with 3 points. A winning penalty from Chris Wood sealed the deal for Forest on that occasion. And they meet again in just about 2 weeks' time, less than 2 weeks' time, in 12 days' time here, or away, sorry, at Portman Road. Here is Morsey, switching it out to the left here for Ipswich. A good move from Luongo, and the ball into the hands of Sells. It was Broadhead that made the attack, and Sells got his hands to it. And now Alanga wants to break down the left channel for Forest. In the end, just plays it back into midfield. We expect Forest to control the possession, to dominate this game tonight. But at the same time, Ipswich won't be just kind of lying down and taking it. They will be competitive. They will ask questions of Nottingham Forest tonight, because they've really got nothing to lose. Morsey. Looking for options. Plays it across to Luongo. Back it goes to Burgess. As Morsey tried to squeeze that one through the lines to Taylor. Back to the Ipswich captain, Twanzebe. First time ball there by Burgess. Just goes out of play past Townsend for a throw in to Ipswich. To come off the foot of Callum Hudson-Odoi. See that one again. It's a good cross from the left hand side from Ipswich, and it's Nathan Broadhead. It kind of gets it flicked with the back of his head as he faces away from goal and try to flick it past Matt Sells. He got a good hand to it. That was the first opportunity of the game. Aina looking up with Sangari. Back here across to Murillo, who will drive it down the left hand side. Look at the space there That was really well marshalled by Alex Palmer, the Ipswich goalkeeper. Space was gaping in behind for the run of Alex Moreno, who was bursting forward. It was well committed by Alex Palmer, the Ipswich keeper, who came out and cleared his lines. As Morato does the same for Forest. Bubbling ball. Awonyi to chase. Awonyi battling past one. But couldn't get past Wolfenden, who settles things down again as Morsey gives it away in midfield. No foul, said the referee. Through ball. Bit misplaced there from Forest. Through to Alanga. And back it goes to Palmer. Palmer trying to swing it out to the left channel. Had a play for a throw in. I have to say, yesterday's game between Man United and Fulham, albeit in the end a mad result and the holders being knocked out, but it certainly was a game lacking a lot of quality. There was very little quality in it. It was really poor from both teams. Let's hope for a little bit more quality from these two tonight. As all the fans inside the City ground stand to remember one of their own. A round of applause in memory of Sam Perkins. Beautifully respected. Hudson-Odoi down the right side. Alanga made the run behind. Alanga cross. Yates couldn't get on the end of it, as that was thumped away by Burgess. It was better from Forest. Nice little pass from Hudson-Odoi. Beautiful ball into Alanga. Here's a nice one from Aina. Alanga. Yates gives it back to Hudson-Odoi. Now Aina, very central. Ola Aina will hit one. Deflected. Alanga keeps it alive. Yates. Now Hudson-Odoi back to Ola Aina. Cross to Sangari. Forest probing around the edge of the Ipswich box here. Hudson-Odoi. Linking up with Alanga. Nice 1-2 in Hudson-Odoi's cross. Deflected off Wolfenden. Will be a corner. Really good combination play by Forest down that side. Nice 1-2. Nice give and go between Hudson-Odoi and Alanga. Lovely little combination. Good blocking in the end. And it ends up going behind for a corner to Nottingham Forest, the first of the game. Alanga will take. Right-footed delivery. Header flicked on, but nowhere near towards goal from Ryan Yates. Right out the other end as Morato keeps it alive. Moreno. Aina. Back to Alex Moreno. Swung into the box and above the head of Awonyi and flicked wide. Alanga couldn't get it into the box again. That's much better from Forest, and they win another corner. It was over the head of Awonyi, the cross. As it fell, it bounced off Townsend, finding Murillo, and he kind of did a little cute kind of turnover, a lovely little flick on the spin, finding Anthony Alanga, whose cross was blocked for the corner, which is delivered and headed, oh, ever so wide. Ibrahim Sangari, it was ever so close. Great delivery by Alanga across the front post, and Sangari diving for it, and it goes narrowly, agonisingly wide of that left-hand post. Big opportunity. The last minute or two, Nottingham Forest have certainly come to life in the attacking sense. Still 0-0. But Forest starting to waken up. Starting to take a little bit more control of this game. Burgess. Cross now to Wolfenden. We'll drive forward a little bit here. Luke Wolfenden. Right wide to Twanzebe. Infield to Morsey. Back to Wolfenden again, who's under pressure. Plays a nice ball in between the lines to Luongo. As now it's back with Burgess. Certainly had a lot more of the ball so far. Ipswich in these areas, looking to build up from the back, and that's a foul on Nathan Broadhead by Murillo. So he tried to lay the ball off there, the Ipswich forward, as he tried to take himself away from the pressure of Murillo. Just kind of caught by the Forest centre back, and a free kick to Ipswich. Whistle goes. Right-footed delivery into the box around the corner towards Hurst. Kept alive, battling with Aina. The flag is going to go up, I believe. It does. Speaking of offsides, obviously, if you were watching across the weekend in the Premier League, the use of semi-automated offsides, I don't think we needed one there. It's quite clear that George Hurst was offside on that occasion, but a reminder for you that is an action tonight. There is VAR, VAR of Matt Donoghue, our referee Tony Harrington. And of course, semi-automated offsides are in action, as well as VAR for the remainder of the competition. Aina. Yates on the turn. Referee plays advantage as Alanga picks up. Lays it off to Hudson-Odoi. Just gives it back to Ryan Yates again. That's Murillo down the left channel. Finding Moreno. As Murato gets it back. Murillo. Ball over the top, that one. Bouncing ball in behind Wolfenden, and Awonyi. And Wolfenden had to take evasive action at the last second. Alanga one side, Awonyi the other. And Luke Wolfenden, he knew Alanga was round one side, and the last second he spotted Awonyi charging in, and he just kicked the ball behind for the corner. Evasive action indeed. Better from Forest again, those balls in behind, threatening Alanga to deliver this corner. Right footed around the front post. Bit of a scramble as it's hoofed away from danger. That was a nice turn in midfield there. A short ball given away. Yates. Now Hudson-Odoi. Goes for the cross. Too high. Cleared away as Moreno will follow up. And the shot over the bar. Alex Moreno was always going to shoot from that sort of position. See it again. Hudson-Odoi driving towards the box. Decides to just switch the ball into the area with the cross. Wasn't a great header by Ben Johnson at the back post. He kind of heads it back out into the path of Moreno. Takes a nice first touch, but the shot well over the bar. No threat at all to Alex Palmer. Well, I was looking before the game about the last time Ipswich won on this ground, and I'm still yet to go back far enough to find that. Nothing in the record suggests that the Ipswich have beaten Forest at home or at the City Ground in the last 31 years, all the way dating back to 1994. Nottingham Forest have been on the end of a number of draws between the sides over the years, 5 to be exact, but they've won all of the other meetings, both Premier League and Championship meetings, at home against Ipswich, including all the way back to 1994 when they were both last in the Premier League on that December season, where they won 4-1, Nottingham Forest, on that occasion back in December 1994. Nothing for Ipswich since that point. Certainly not a happy hunting ground for them. And this season, not a happy hunting ground for many travelling teams. One of the top sides at home this season, Nottingham Forest, just 2 home defeats this campaign. Only Liverpool, Arsenal and Aston Villa have lost less games at home, all with just the 1 singular home defeat this season in the Premier League. Forest with just the 2. Here is Hudson-Odoi getting past Luongo, trying to dribble his way through, went down under the challenge, and Massimo Luongo is going to get a yellow card. It was really nice work by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, really smart. Just dinking his way past him. Yeah, it's a late challenge. Certainly a yellow card by Massimo Luongo. And a free kick to Nottingham Forest in a good area here in and around the edge of the box on the right hand side. Forest, who've already looked threatening from crosses, will have a chance to deliver another one here. Anthony Alanga certainly getting his fair share of set piece deliveries so far, and he'll have another one. Alanga tries to spot the target. The hand goes in the air, the right-footed delivery into the box, punched away by Alex Palmer. Really strong goalkeeping. He's making sure no one but him was getting to that ball. It's a good delivery, nice swept ball by Alanga, and it looked like it was Awonyi that was the closest. Maybe Morata as well were in there in the mix to try and get onto the end of the ball, and that's a nice takedown from the throw in there from Alanga. Try to squeeze it through the lines. Well blocked by Ipswich, and the shot from long range off balance from Ola Aina, as you would expect, well off target. Well, it's not only Forest's home record that's pretty solid for away teams. Ipswich have just won 2 away games this season in the Premier League. They are only a worse record, or a less amount of points won away from home, Leicester and Southampton this season in the Premier League. 2 wins, 4 draws and 7 defeats in 13 Premier League away games this campaign. Ipswich, as they're toying about at the back here. Goodness me, Luongo was there at the right time as Sangari was pressing. But my goodness, they were toying about with that ball, and they could have easily been caught by Nottingham Forest, because they were all over them on the edge of the box there, and they were playing right into Forest's hands for a second there, Ipswich. They got out of it just about. Morsi back to Palmer, to Burgess, now Luongo. Not a bit of energy in their passing so far, Ipswich. It's just a bit flat in these early moments. Just a little bit laboured in their passing. A lack of movement up front as well. Forest not overcommittal with their press. Here's Wolfenden. Cheap giveaway there. Try to find Twanzebe round the corner. And Alanga went down under a challenge from Wolfenden, but I don't think there was a free kick given there. I think just a throw-in was given. I don't think Anthony Alanga was too sure what happened there and what the referee had and hadn't given. It is a throw-in to Forest. Alex Moreno will take in this left-hand side. 20 minutes gone. It's Forest with the more of the possession, narrowly more of the possession. Certainly the better of the attacking moves so far in these opening minutes. Here is Murato. Now Ola Aina. With the switch ball out to Alanga. Well blocked well by Twanzebe, although Johnson a bit short as Alanga tried to flick it in behind for the overlap of Moreno. Well closed out by Twanzebe. Well won back though by Murillo. And now here's Moreno, stayed up the field, and now has the overload. Alanga at the byline with a cutback. Well marshalled, well dealt with by Luke Wolfenden. Couple of turnovers in possession there. Some composure at the moment. Well, Ipswich, this isn't a real known position for them, or certainly a known round to them recently. The last time they played in the 5th round, actually, of the FA Cup was back in 2006-07, and they lost to Watford 1-0 in that round. It's only the second time this century tonight that Ipswich have played in the 5th round of the FA Cup. The last time they got to the quarter-finals was back in 1993. Here's Awonyi, trying to deny them that chance again. Alanga, edge of the box. Well over the bar. Yeah, it was a lovely ball by Ola Aina. Beautifully threaded through for Taiwo Awonyi. Got on the end of it as he held it up. Got past Twanzebe. Played it into Alanga, who drove across the edge of the box past Wolfenden and tried to angle it to the far corner. But he just got too much behind it. And it was nowhere near threatening Alex Palmer, that shot. In the end. Given away there by Forest. Here's Ben Johnson. Finding Taylor. Morsey now. Down the right hand side. Taylor into the box. Over the head. And Townsend will have this shot blocked by Ola Aina. It's Broadhead that was lurking. And then again by Townsend. And Murillo had to head up behind for a corner. That was a really threatening cross by Connor Townsend. Gets to the sidelines. Aina far too lackadaisical in his press. Allows Connor Townsend the chance to whip it in again. And Murillo, up and commanding, heads it away from danger. Just as far for a corner to Ipswich for their first of the game. Townsend to deliver. Pouncing in the box. To the edge for Johnson. It was blocked by Danilo. And the ball will find its way out to the right hand side for a throw-in to Ipswich. A little bit more adventurous there from Kieran McKenna's side. A little bit more intensity about their play for a second there. Morsey. Space to go forward. Goes out wide to Johnson. Battling. Holds on to the ball well. Gets it back to his captain. Now Twanzebe. Morsey under pressure. Does well under the pressure. Goes it back to Cameron Burgess. Space to look forward. Linking in between the lines with Luongo. Nowhere really for Taylor to go. Burgess will try again. And now Luongo. Bit of space. Tries to swing it out wide to Ben Johnson and puts far too much power behind it. It was never going to be retrieved by Ben Johnson on that right wing. It's a little bit more positive though from Ipswich's point of view. It's been very kind of passive and just play the ball around and hope something shows up for them. And they were a bit laboured, as I said. Their passing was a bit slow at times. But in the last few minutes, they've added a little bit of energy. They've been a bit more intense. And I think that's maybe unsettled Nottingham Forest just a little bit. Although the home side's still very much looking the more threatening. As Tuanzebe heads it back to Alex Palmer, who sends it long. Hurst trying to win the header. In a bit of a foot race now as Ola Aina gives it back to Sells, who will get rid of it quickly with Hurst's press. Danilo couldn't keep the possession. Tuanzebe back to Wolfenden. And across and back to Alex Palmer. Well, for Ipswich, despite the fact that they've had well, in terms of where they are in the Premier League, their form has been pretty predictable and what you would expect from an Ipswich side that are in a relegation battle. They have lost a good 6 of their last 7 Premier League games. The only game they didn't lose in their last 7 was that draw away to Aston Villa, 1-1. They actually drawn both games against Aston Villa this season. Did Ipswich, the 2-2 draw way back in August that they got out of that game, and then the 1-1 draw away at Villa Park. But have been on the end of 3 and a 4 in the last 2 Premier League games conceded. 3 against United and 4 against Tottenham. The last 2 wins in all competitions Ipswich has come in this competition against Championship Coventry and League One Bristol Rovers. The last 2 wins that Ipswich have had in any competition, they're the only wins for Ipswich in 2025. They last won a Premier League game against Chelsea on the 30th of December when they won 2-0. A rare Premier League home win for Ipswich this season. That's something they've rarely seen, and only seen the once, which was against Chelsea. And that's maybe the argument. A lot of, we talk all the time about relegation teams and, teams battling relegation, and we talk about the most important factor is to make it tough for teams to come to your stadium, to make your stadium a fortress, a real hard place to get something out of for opponents. And I think Ipswich have been a prime example of how tough it is, for one, but also how the fact that if you can't have a home form, if you can't actually pick up points at home, you're just not going to pick them up at all. Quite ironically, Leicester and Ipswich, 2 of the relegation battlers, have actually picked up more points away from home than they have at home this season in the Premier League. Ipswich just 7 points won at home, 1 win and 4 draws from their 14 Premier League home games this season. Only Southampton have picked up less points at home, and that's the point of why they are where they are. And I know we're not here to talk about Premier League this evening, but it's a pressing matter, talking about the state of the situation these 2 clubs are in. Very contrasting situations, for that matter. And Ipswich, as I said, their home form is the problem. It's not the only problem, obviously, but it's a major problem, because if you want to stay in the competition, if you want to stay in the Premier League and compete at the top level, you have to be able to pick up points at home. even if it is more draws than anything else. But losing 9 of your 14 home games this season is not acceptable if you're going to try and stay in the Premier League. And of course, they're a side that have done double promotions, back-to-back promotions, so it was always going to be tough for them. But their quality in their side is more than enough to battle in Premier League games. It's not like they're getting absolutely battered every single week. They are competitive to an extent in Premier League games, but it's when they lose to teams in and around them that's where their problems are caused. You know, we talk about the Southampton defeat as probably one of the worst defeats of them all for Ipswich, really, this season, because they lost to Southampton at home, a side that cannot pick up points for love nor money this season. In Southampton, they are by far the worst team in the Premier League, and they still beat Ipswich at home this season, and that was the run of quite a poor set of results in 2025 for Ipswich. They lost 3 home games in a row in the Premier League. Brighton, Man City and Southampton, and they lost 6-0 to City, which can happen to anyone, but you know, a real tough spell for Kieran McKenna's side. As I said, their only wins in 2025 were in this competition, in the FA Cup, in the 3rd and the 4th rounds. Maybe this competition is their good omen this season. I think they would rather those wins be Premier League wins than the FA Cup wins. That's the way the world works. You can't have everything your own way. And so far, after 31 minutes, they're still very competitive against Forest. They are still pinging balls forward. They're still trying things. It's not like Nottingham Forest are absolutely got them in a chokehold and they're all over the place, Ipswich. They are competing in this game and they are looking a little bit of a threat when they come forward. But Nottingham Forest just look comfortable defensively. And, you know, last season and the last number of seasons, the conversation's really been about, well, Forest have signed all these players, but where's the improvement coming? Where are we seeing a change in the way their results are coming? Because they've been battling relegation for the last number of seasons since they were promoted. But the difference that Nuno Espirito Santo's made this season is they're so much more defensively solid than they have been previously. And that's a crucial point to how well Nottingham Forest are doing. They're not the highest scorers in the league. They've scored 44 goals, so they're not pumping in the goals. But what they are good at is keeping them out and winning big games by narrow margins. You know, that was something that Nottingham Forest couldn't do last season. They gifted teams opportunities back in games, whereas this season it's just that steely determination in this Forest side that when they get in front, they're not going to lose that lead and they're just going to cruise to a finish, even if it is just winning 1-0. They've got that in them, and that steely determination has rocketed them up the table. And a chance as Yates' cross was cleared away. Morato trying to press to win it back. Danilo does win it back, and finding Sangare. That's good determination as Hudson-Odoi feeds wide to Alanga. Back to Hudson-Odoi on the right side. Rolls it back for Anthony Alanga again. Trying to manoeuvre his way towards the box. Lays it off to Murillo. Finding Sangare for Forest. Hudson-Odoi drives in field, run into trouble, and a foul committed around the edge of the box there by Callum Hudson-Odoi. We'll see Ipswich get out of trouble and a little bit of respite with a cheap free kick. See it again. That chance earlier, Hudson-Odoi played it into Yates, and Yates with a cut back across the 18-yard box. Just couldn't find a teammate in there. It was a decent effort. A decent chance for Nottingham Forest, but not taken. Interestingly enough, Ipswich have had the only shot on target of the night so far. Forest still without a shot on target, so haven't really tested Alex Palmer as of yet. That flick on header from Broadhead That was saved by Matt Sells as the only shot on target so far in this game. That's nice from Yates. Hudson-Odoi between the lines. Alanga's made a deft run as he cuts it across the box, chested down, not given the time to shoot. Danilo. Well saved by Palmer and parried away. That was much better from Nottingham Forest. Out of nowhere, little run by Alanga in behind. Played across the box, lifted in. It's chested down by Moreno, not given the chance to shoot on the follow-up. And as the shot from Danilo comes in, crashed off Alex Palmer. He made a good save and denying Nottingham Forest the opening goal. So much better. And all it takes is one little run in behind that changes the game. It changes the energy of the attack almost instantly. Certainly got Nottingham Forest on the move. Moreno beaten at it at his near post there. Given away by Ipswich, and now a chance for Alanga from the Forest clearance. Alanga breaking through, trying to find the run of Taiwo Awoniyi in there, and just far too overhit. Alex Palmer can retrieve. And also, another kind of point I would make tonight is the fact that Kieran McKenna's made 8 changes for his starting 11 for this game. Only Axel Twanzebe, Alex Palmer and Sam Morsey keep their places in the starting 11 from the defeat to Man United in midweek. So when you think of it like that, that's quite an array of changes for such a late position in this competition and in such a difficult place to come. So I would say credit to Ipswich as well, and the fact that they haven't kind of been fearful of making changes, that Kieran McKenna has the confidence in his squad to make 8 changes coming to the City Ground, and so far in this first half, still competitive. And denying Nottingham Forest so far any real clear-cut chances. Other than that little shot a moment or two ago. As the crowd try and get Nottingham Forest up again. Murillo trying to target the run of Yates. Well closed off. That's a good tussle. And Awoniyi dropping deeper, helping out to keep the ball. Good hold-up play. Finds Hudson-Odoi. Charging off the right-hand side is Hudson-Odoi. Jinking into the box. Lays it off for Sangare, who has the long-range effort well high and wide. It was good work from Hudson-Odoi. It was actually really good tracking back from Taiwo Awoniyi. Dropped a lot deeper. Allowed for the distribution to the wide area to find Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's got that pace and power to drive into the box. And he's got the really quick footwork just to play a pass or to try and have a shot. And as he cuts it back, Sangare was always going to hit it. It was always going to be the wrong move to hit it from that sort of position. And it was never finding the back of the nets. Just got a little bit impatient when they come forward as well, Forest. It's lacking that composure when they're in and around the box to get clear-cut shots, to test the Ipswich goalkeeper in Alex Palmer, and so far it's letting their attacks go really without massively threatening Ipswich's goal. By far they've certainly got really threatening approach play in their wide areas. The threats of Hudson-Odoi and Alanga constantly causing problems. Maybe Forest hoping that if they keep that pressure on, that The Ipswich defence at some point will get tired, and there will be space starting to open up for the likes of Awoniyi. So here's Alanga and Hudson-Odoi again. That's a good, really good challenge by Conor Townsend against Anthony Alanga as he puts it out for the corner. Again, that threat down the right side. Hudson-Odoi played it through, and Alanga in a foot race with Townsend, and the Ipswich man comes out on top. But Alanga ultimately wins the corner, of which he will take. 5 minutes of the first half to go, still nil each. Another corner for Alanga to deliver, right-footed to the back post, too high for even Murillo in there. It will be delivered back in by Moreno. Sangare got his head to it but couldn't direct it towards goal, and I think the flag was up anyway against Ibrahim Sangare. And a free kick will come Ipswich's way. Cameron Burgess, a little bit of a wobble. As he tried to steal the ball away from Taiwo Awoniyi a little bit earlier on. Maybe kind of stretched a muscle. Maybe caused a bit of discomfort there. But he is alright to continue at the moment, Cameron Burgess. Keep an eye on that. Here's Broadhead, nice tick down there. Under pressure. It's the retreating Forest bodies, one of which is Ibrahim Sangare. Wins a throw-in. You don't have to be a lip reader to realise what Kieran McKenna's just said on the sidelines. I can tell you the second word was hell. The first word started with F. We'd probably guess. He's not particularly happy with his side. I've dealt with that situation. Sangare under pressure. That was better. Well won by Ben Johnson. Now finding Broadhead. Surrounded by red shirts. He tried to escape from the trouble. That was good work for Morsey to spin away from Sangare. Wide on the right. Played into Johnson. He tried to rescue something into the box. Still alive as the cross comes in. Headed away. And Luongo will keep it alive on the edge of the box. It's better from Ipswich. Morsey to Burgess. Out wide on to Townsend on the left channel. Back in field to Broadhead. Seems to be linking it up quite a lot, Nathan Broadhead. Coming a lot deeper. Kind of adding to that, the midfield bodies. For Ipswich. Taylor. Back to Cameron Burgess. Looking for options, but a sea of red awaits. Ola Aina there. Retrieving the ball for Nottingham Forest from Luongo's poor pass. Once again the threat of Alanga. Strikes fair. Up Cameron Burgess, who completely overhits the back pass. And will give Nottingham Forest a cheap corner here. There's a flick on by Awoniyi. And it was actually Callum Hudson-Odoi, apologies, that was threatening. Just the fear of that threat behind him. He tried to get the ball back to his keeper quickly. It's a little bit too quickly for his keeper to react. And Alex Palmer could do nothing about that. And Ipswich have given away a pretty unforced error of giving away a corner here. Alanga to take again. Right-footed, lower this time. Cleared away by Morsey, I believe that was, in the box. And will be a throw-in to Nottingham Forest. The clock runs down towards the end of this first half. Still no breakthrough. Still locked at 0-0. Can Forest try and eke their way in front before half-time? As Ola Aina goes for the long throw into the box. Headed away by Burgess. Kept alive by Hudson-Odoi. Wants to drive forward. Well cleared out, although it's only cleared as far as Murillo. He tries to swing one round the corner to Alanga. Well defended by Townsend. Out for another Nottingham Forest throw. on the right side. In a hurry to keep the pressure on here at the moment, Forest. Hudson-Odoi. Alanga. Hudson-Odoi. Back to Yates there, who was under a little bit of pressure. But Alanga will win another throw-in. And as we enter the added time, there will be just 1 added minute at the end of the first half. 1 additional minute. Lovely work from Danilo there to break the lines. Just too much on the pass, although Alanga will chase. Well ushered out though by Burgess. Goal kick. And we'll talk about 2 perspectives from both teams at half-time, what they'll be feeling if it does end the half 0 each. See who will feel the more positive out of the 2 managers at half-time. And we'll also reassess what happened across the weekend and take a look at what the quarter-finals will have in store for us in the FA Cup. Because there is the half-time whistle. And there's been a lot more attacking action from Nottingham Forest in that first half, but still lacking that clinical edge and that threat in front of goal so far to really test the Ipswich defence. Not for the want of trying from Nottingham Forest. Ipswich have held their own, stayed competitive, and the 8 changes made by Kieran McKenna at the moment don't seem like a pretty bad decision. Half-time at the City Ground in this FA Cup tie. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Ipswich 0. Welcome back to FA Cup Live. Half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Ipswich Town 0 in that all Premier League tie. This evening, the final of 8 games over this 5th round weekend in the FA Cup. We will round up already what has happened in the previous 7 ties around half-time, and also we'll look ahead to the quarter-finals and what they have in store. Plus, of course, we will analyse that first half. Firstly, let's talk about that first half then, and what we really saw from those two teams in the first 45. I think overall, I saw a Nottingham Forest side that looked more energised, that looked more up for it, that looked a lot more intent in the way they've played, and certainly the better of the two sides so far. I think they've struggled when they've got towards goal. I think they haven't been anywhere near threatening enough in front of goal. You know, they haven't had a shot on target yet, which is evidence to the fact that they've been getting to the right areas. They've been getting forward well enough, but when they get into the box or in and around the box, they're not getting the shots off. And maybe that could be down to the fact that Ipswich are defending them well, but also to the fact that Nottingham Forest have had 8 shots in this game, but not a single one of them on target, and 6 of those 8 shots were their own shots off target. A couple of wild efforts as well in this game. So I think Nuno Espirito Santo will be a bit disappointed with how his side have attacked in this first half. I think he will say that they've been a little bit wasteful when going forward, and no doubting the fact that they've got the quality on the field to break in behind this Ipswich side. A changed Ipswich side as well, as I mentioned, 8 changes from Kieran McKenna coming into tonight's game. So there's no doubting the fact that this is an Ipswich side that has changes in it, and at the best of times they can't defend and keep balls out of the back of their own net. At the very best of times, Ipswich. But at the moment, Nottingham Forest being held, and held pretty well from Ipswich's point of view. In terms of Ipswich in that first half, I think they rarely got forward. I don't think they really gave much of a threat. I think that early chance from Nathan Broadhead towards Matt Sells was a pretty simple enough catch in the end from the Forest keeper from that header. But that was probably their only real threatening opportunity of the first half. They've had bits and pieces, but nothing really clear-cut in front of goal. And I think at one point in that first half, I think Kieran McKenna was a bit frustrated with how his side were really not getting forward with very much energy. I think they were a bit laboured in their passing at times in that first half, and really struggled to break into the final third on a relative basis, on a consistent basis. And I think that's where they struggled to really test the Nottingham Forest defence. It was a struggle for Ipswich, but as I said, 8 changes could be the issue. And maybe bring on some stronger players come towards the end of the game, the likes of maybe a Liam Delap, who can add that little bit of extra energy, or maybe a Jack Clark, who's not long joiner, Jayden Philogene, who scored twice against Manchester United in their last Premier League game. So some extra attacking threat maybe could help their hands in trying to find a goal here, but that is something for to ponder in the second half. Still 0-0 at half time. Right, already this weekend we have seen 6 Premier League sides book their place into the quarterfinals. The only other side that is in the quarterfinals that isn't a Premier League side is the Championship side Preston. We'll run you through the results. It started on Friday night when Aston Villa needed 2 late goals from Marco Asensio to book their place into the quarterfinals, knocking out Cardiff City of the Championship. On Saturday it was a drama-filled and pretty crazy match at Sellers Park, with Liam Roberts, the Millwall goalkeeper, being sent off inside 10 minutes. It was 2-0 to Palace shortly afterwards. Jaffa Tanganga's own goal and Daniel Munoz giving Palace a 2-goal advantage. Wes Harding made it a little bit more nervy for Palace just before half-time, but Eddie Nketiah got the ultimate 3rd goal for Crystal Palace to send them through to the quarter-finals. Preston made easy work of Burnley in the end, a 3-0 victory for Preston North End against, of course, Burnley, one of the high flyers in the Championship at this minute in time. Robbie Brady, Mulatin Osmajic and Will Keane with the 3 goals for Preston saw them cruise to a 3-0 victory. The only the only All-Championship tie this weekend, and Preston knocking out Burnley. Bournemouth needed penalties to knock out Premier League side Wolves in that all Premier League tussle at the Vitality Stadium. It finished 5-4 after a shootout and 1-1 after 120 minutes at the Vitality, and Bournemouth knocking out relegation battlers Wolves in that one. Bournemouth through to the last 8. Manchester City ended Saturday's action having to come from behind against Championship Plymouth, who had already knocked out Brentford and Liverpool in the previous rounds. They went one up to Oliveira with the goal for Plymouth to take the lead. Nico O'Reilly, though, the Man City youngster, got one back. He also got the second for Man City as well to put them in front with around 13 minutes to go before Kevin De Bruyne sealed the deal in the 90th minute to round off a 3-1 victory for Manchester City. Into yesterday's action, 2 all Premier League ties, and both not finishing inside 90 minutes. It was extra time that saw Brighton knock out Newcastle United, who are in the League Cup final, but it will be just the one cup final for Newcastle this season as they're knocked out of the FA Cup once again. Alexander Isak, though, gave them the lead inside 22 minutes. To put Newcastle in front. Young Kuba Minta, who gave away the penalty for the Newcastle opener, got the leveller before a red card was given to Anthony Gordon late in the second half for violent conduct. A second yellow was also given to Tyreek Lamptey, so both down to 10. Newcastle thought they'd won it in the 95th minute of normal time, but that goal was ruled out through offside from VAR. And Danny Welbeck ultimately got the winning goal, as he did in Brighton's last Premier League game. He did, to put them through in the FA Cup by 2-1. And then yesterday, the holders were knocked out at the hands of Premier League side Fulham at Old Trafford. Calvin Bassey, with his first appearance in an FA Cup match, got his first goal, obviously, in the FA Cup late into the first half at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes then with a sparkling bit of magic from the Man United captain got them back on terms. It took it all the way to penalties, where Manchester United and Fulham scored all of their first 3 penalties. Lindelof missed the 4th for United. Robinson then scored the 4th for Fulham, which made them 4-3 leaders, before Joshua Zirkzee missed the crucial 5th penalty that ultimately knocked out Manchester United out of the FA Cup. So, that's where we stand from the weekend's action, and let's have a look and see what the draw looks like. This is the way it is. Fulham will host Crystal Palace in a London derby. Aston Villa will face the lowest ranked side in the competition, Preston of the Championship, at Deepdale. Bournemouth will welcome Manchester City for the second time this season to the Vitality Stadium, and Brighton will welcome the winners of our game this evening between Nottingham Forest and Ipswich. So that's where we stand. A reminder for you, the quarter-finals of the FA Cup take place in the weekend of the 29th and the 30th of March, so in around 4 weeks' time. And then tomorrow night, we're back with Champions League action as the round of 16 gets underway, as the rating holders Real Madrid host their local rivals Atletico Madrid in a Madrid derby tomorrow, 8 o'clock. On LFS. Right, second half at the City Ground, where it is goalless at the moment in this All-Premier League tie. Second half's on the way next. Welcome back to FA Cup Live, the final round 5 game of this competition. So far, Nottingham Forest and Ipswich being deadlocked at 0-0. Ipswich already back out on the fields. Forest just emerging from the tunnel for the second half. Before that, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we thank everybody for their company this evening. It's great to have you with us for this FA Cup tie. Our third FA Cup game of the weekend we have covered here on LFS. And of course we will certainly keep you as much up to date for the quarterfinals when they come around at the end of the month. 2 half-time substitutes for Ipswich, by the way. Axel Twanzebe and Cameron Burgess have been replaced by Dara O'Shea and Jacob Greaves at centre-back. So a couple of defensive changes for Kieran McKenna's Ipswich. Maybe wanting a bit of a change to the way they've been playing and building out from the back so far. Forest kicking from right to left. Ipswich from left to right in the second half. As we have at least 45 more minutes to go here at the City Ground on this Monday night, under the lights, at this raucous atmosphere of a stadium, as Nottingham Forest look to knock out Ipswich. Or can Ipswich cause what would be a little bit of an upset if they could knock Nottingham Forest out of this competition tonight? It is an all-Premier League tie, but there is certainly still a gulf in quality between these two sides in terms of their league performances and their league positions in the English top flight. That goal goes out the window when it comes to the cup, as we have seen already. It doesn't matter what division you're in. That's why upsets can and do happen in this competition. It's who's better on the day. Although I would argue Nottingham Forest have lived up to their expectations so far, other than scoring, in the way that they've performed. Certainly have been the better of the two sides, but just lacking that cutting edge in the final third so far. The home side. And Ipswich have had a tough run of form lately. Forest haven't had it all their own way in recent games either. They've lost 3 of their last 5 Premier League games. They've picked up just 1 win in that run as well. They drew 0-0 with Arsenal last time out here 6 days ago, when Arsenal were here. That all but ended Arsenal's title hopes, and the fact that Liverpool are now 13 points clear. They were beaten by Newcastle in a 7-goal thriller the weekend prior to that, and then beaten by Fulham as well away from home just a week prior to that. So they've certainly not had it their own way recently, Nottingham Forest, since that 7-0 against Brighton, which is their only win in the Premier League in their last 5. Of course, even in the FA Cup, to get to this round, they had to see off an Exeter side who were pretty hard-working. Took them all the way to penalties in that one. After a 2-2 draw inside the 120 minutes. And Forest winning 4-2 on penalties that night. And that's why they're into the 5th round here this evening. That's a cheap giveaway by Forest in possession. Broadhead, whose pass through to Hurst was blocked off by Aina, and also cleared away for a throw-in. And despite that recent record, though, in the Premier League, a lot of those poor results have come away from home. They haven't lost at home, Nottingham Forest, in any game in any competition dating back to the 10th of November when they were beaten 3-1 here by Newcastle United. That was their last home defeat. They've been unbeaten in their last 8 home games, winning 6 of those games and drawing with just Liverpool and Arsenal, the league's top 2. Certainly much more impressive at home for Nottingham Forest than their recent form suggests. Reminder for you that in that previous fixture, between these two this season here at the City Ground, Chris Wood's winning penalty. Now, Chris Wood's penalty was enough to win the game for Nottingham Forest on that day in the 1-0 victory. Here comes Ben Johnson forward for Ipswich. Well closed off, but they're moving it a little bit quicker now, are the visitors. Here's Jack Taylor. Wide, comes back in field to Morsey. Lays it off to Greaves, who gives it out wide to the left here for Townsend. Townsend tiptoeing his way into the midfield, gives it away though on the turn. And now Hudson-Odoi charging away. Callum Hudson-Odoi waiting for options. Lays it off to Alanga on the D. Alanga! Good save by Palmer. He'll get another chance at it though, Alanga. Wide on the left side here. Tries to get it across goal. Gets the cross in. Cleared away though by Wolfenden. Kept alive by Moreno, who lays it off now to the edge of the box. And Gary trying to squeeze it through. Well blocked as Hudson-Odoi takes it on the edge of the box. Tried to squeeze in between the lines to find Alanga. That was well blocked off. Cleared away of danger there by the Ipswich defence. But that's all it took for Nottingham Forest to get into the game. It's a couple of decent start to the second half from Ipswich's point of view. A good bit of possession, a lot better, certainly on the ball in terms of their speed of passing. One cheap giveaway in the midfield, ultimately given away by Connor Townsend, and ultimately Forest were in. They had one or two goal scoring opportunities. Here's Sangari now. Might that have just ignited Forest early in this half? Danilo edging away from the pressure in the shot. Tried to angle it to the top corner. It was arrowing towards that area, but there wasn't enough pace on it to test Alex Palmer. Enough. Nice idea by Danilo. Drag the man one way, chop back inside the other. And has the shot, but in the end tamely at Alex Palmer. Just a little bit more energy about Nottingham Forest at the minute. It's Morsey. Jesus. Gets the ball on the edge of his own box and turns away from trouble in the press from Ryan Yates. Morsey trying to do that little turn again. Yates was a lot more prepared for that one. That's a nice ball into Broadhead though, who's dropped a bit deeper again. Now Johnson looking for the switch ball. Beautifully taken down by Connor Townsend. And tried to cross, blocked by the backside of Ola Aina. Out for the Ipswich throw. That was much more inventive. Lovely switch ball by Ben Johnson to find Connor Townsend in space in that left hand channel. Throw in here. Townsend looks to whip the ball into the box and try to find Johnson. The follow up not taken by Broadhead. Miss kicked the ball. Now Morsey has it. Luongo out wide to Connor Townsend. Certainly come alive in the wide areas there, Ipswich. Lovely turn by Morsey, will hit one. Oh, what a save. Very good save by Matt Sells. Sam Morsey. It looked like he was going to eye up for that shot a little earlier. But he breaks away from the midfield and has the shot from about 25-30 yards. And the shot was just... It seemed like it was going to hit the crossbar anyway, but Matt Sells had to make sure, and he palmed it over the top for an Ipswich corner, which Johnson will take. Right-footed delivery to the back post, headed all cross goal and in by George Hurst. A bright start to the second half and a breakthrough for Ipswich Town. They might not have much joy in terms of league progression this season, but the FA Cup is where they find their joy, and they have more to celebrate in this competition as they break the deadlock and take the lead at the City Ground. Something was coming, something was brewing at the start of this second half. Fabulous delivery from Ben Johnson. Beautifully whipped round the back post. Header by George Hurst. All he's got to do is find it on target. As he does, it headed into the ground, and it beat everyone in there, including Matt Sells, who could do nothing but see it go through his legs and into the back of the nets. And the Premier League relegation strugglers have taken the lead. It's been their happy place this season, for Ipswich. And they're happy once again and celebrating in the FA Cup. Nottingham Forest 0, Ipswich 1. Now Forest want to respond quickly here with Moreno. Very committed from Wolfenden. He does really well and clears it away from danger. That's lovely work there down the right side from Taylor. Now the breakaway Broadhead gets it to Taylor, who's challenged. And the referee's going to stop the game. And Taylor's in a bit of real pain here, holding his right ankle. And it's going to be just a yellow card for Morato for that challenge. See it again. Yeah, it comes sliding in. The studs were slightly showing for Morato there. He's lucky that he didn't really make any sort of straight connection with Jack Taylor there. Otherwise, he really would have been in trouble. But I think a yellow card's the right decision. And Morato getting Nottingham Forest first booking of the night. Now VAR were having a quick look at a possible red card, but quickly checked and cleared, and the decision of a yellow stands. So just a yellow for Morato. And now a free kick for Ipswich, who lead by a goal to 0. It's got those travelling tractor boys celebrating at the City ground. They've got a chance to try and add to what's been positive so far. Johnson, deep delivery to the back post, kept alive as Taylor gets it back in. And again from Taylor. Away that time by Yates, I believe. And there's a bit of a head clash as Ryan Yates gets back to his feet. The referee stopped the game, checking upon the well-being of Ryan Yates there. He just kind of clashed heads with Wolfenden. The referee just had a quick check-up on Ryan Yates, who is okay. But Ipswich were taking a little bit of bother with the fact the referee stopped the game. But if there's a head injury, the referee is compelled to stop the game, of course. That is in the rules. I think Kieran McKenna heard enough there from the fourth official. I think he kindly told him with his hand gesture to go away. But the referee did the right thing there, in my opinion. Had to stop the game because of that head injury to Ryan Yates, although he was ultimately okay, but had to make sure, the referee. I have to say, this goal has massively unsettled Nottingham Forest. And this is why they're eyeing up some changes themselves. Gibbs White and Anderson on the sidelines, ready to enter the fray. The FA Cup hasn't been plain sailing for Nottingham Forest this season. Faced Championship side Luton in the third round. Ryan Yates and Ramon Sosa ultimately getting the 2 goals that put them through with a 2-0 victory here. And that trip to Exeter took them all the way to penalties, and now with just over a half an hour to go at the City ground, they have a 1-goal deficit to try and overturn against fellow Premier League side Ipswich. Nice link up there with Moreno as Alanga breaks into the box. Well matched all the way, and the ball was cleared at the back there. And Ipswich a little bit stronger defensively at the start of the half as changes incoming. So Danilo's going to make way here for Elliot Anderson. And the second of the 2 substitutes is going to see Ibrahim Sangari replaced by Morgan Gibbs-White. So Danilo and Sangari coming off, and Anderson and Gibbs-White coming on for Nottingham Forest. maybe a bit forcing Nuno Espirito Santo's hand, really. The situation of the game with those substitutes as Moreno goes for the long throw. Flicked away by Taylor in the edge of the box. Brought down by Hudson-Odoi as Forest retrieve it with Aina. Gibbs-White now with his first involvement. Down the right side to Aina. Back to Morgan Gibbs-White. Lays it off to Ola Aina on the turn. Tries to chip it into the box, and the header was well away from danger from Anthony Elanga there. Goal kick. Maybe a little bit of dynamism there from Morgan Gibbs-White, who might catch the eye of that man, Thomas Tuchel, the England head coach, who's in attendance tonight. I think I got a glimpse of the Scotland head coach as well a little earlier on, who's watching tonight. A couple of players of interest for both of those countries. Forest battling to win back. Elliot Anderson does well on the press. Gibbs-White. Anderson trying to return the ball to his fellow substitute, but cleared away there by Greaves. It was nicely won by Aina, brought down by Gibbs-White round the corner. Anderson on the flick. Went down under a challenge from Massimo Luongo. Referee saw no issue as we play on with Johnson now for Ipswich. O'Shea. Oh, a bit awkward there as it comes back to the hands of Alex Palmer. I think there is a little bit more urgency about Nottingham Forest now. It's obviously needs must. That's a nice ball down the left side here. Broadhead carrying Ipswich forward, run into traffic in the way of Morato. And Ola Aina wins the free kick off Broadhead for Nottingham Forest. Well, really, what do Ipswich do from here? You've got to say they've got to consolidate this lead, try and disrupt Nottingham Forest as much as possible, and try and keep a hold of it. And they knew it was going to be tough coming here tonight. Kieran McKenna, I'm sure, is under no illusions that not only is this a tough place to come, but it's a really tough team to play. And he will know that this lead is never to be taken for granted. And they need to be alert 100% of the time here, right until the final whistle, to try and seal the deal and knock Nottingham Forest out of the FA Cup. Still a long way to go. Just under a half an hour to go here at the City Ground. Still Forest 0, Ipswich 1. George Hurst with the goal. Hurst battling and pressing Matt Sells there, who goes long with his kick. The header forward went right the back way of the Forest keeper. Well, this is actually the first goal that Ipswich have scored at the City Ground in the last number of years, since they met in the Championship back in 2018. Ipswich scored the opening goal of a 2-1 defeat here at the City Ground. Grant Ward scored the opening goal on that day for Ipswich. That was the last time they had scored at the City Ground. Forest claimed a late victory on that day. Ben Burton Diaz and Joe Lolly with the 2 goals to win the game from 1-0 down late for Forest. And the last time Ipswich scored on this ground hadn't scored in the last 3 visits to the City Ground. Of course, remember, this would be historic if they were to win here this evening. Ipswich, as I said, haven't reached the quarterfinals since 1993 of this competition, and haven't beaten Forest here at the City Ground, at least in the last 31 years. We know that for certain. You haven't got any further back than that to go off for you at this moment in time. It's Aina with the overlapping run. Hudson-Odoi cuts it back to Elliot Anderson with a shot. Deflected. Will be a corner. Little bit of extra energy and urgency from Nottingham Forest. Not waiting around. Not taking their time. And they have a corner on this right-hand side, which garners a reaction from the crowd. 25 minutes to go. The referee watching 1 or 2 in the box and having a chat with O'Shea and Morato there. Well, this corner comes in. Alang gets to deliver again. Right-footed. Cleared away by Morsey at the front post. As Forest retrieve with Moreno. But absolutely overhits that one. Anthony Alanga was nowhere near getting to the end of that. Throw into Ipswich. As they're going to make changes, Ipswich. Bring some of their more first team set of players into the side. So a double substitution incoming here for the visitors. Massimo Luongo and Nathan Broadhead are going to make way. And Jens Kayuste and Jack Clark are going to come on to the field. So Broadhead and Luongo off, and Kayuste and Clark on for Ipswich Town. Throw into Ipswich here. Townsend to take the throw. And as the throw-in was taken, it was George Hurst that gave away a cheap foul on the Forest captain Ryan Yates. So a free kick to Nottingham Forest here, which was an interesting turn-up. So a free kick for Anthony Alanga with a quarter of the game to go. They need to make the most of these set pieces, Nottingham Forest. Alanga is the one over it once again, as he has been all night. Right-footed. Again cleared it with the front post. Not fully cleared though, as Alan Anderson will recycle it back to Alanga. Alanga deeper this time. The header is in by Ryan Yates, who won the free kick. And the Nottingham Forest captain heads his side back on terms and back in this FA Cup tie. Big goal in big moments. And a massive player in Ryan Yates steps up and takes it. He's miles onside. It was Ben Johnson that was the one that played everybody onside there in the box. And Yates came and conquered and gets Forest back in the game. Fabulous header. Palmer couldn't do very much about it. The sheer bullet-like power was beating every goalkeeper on the planet. And Ryan Yates has the goal that has Nottingham Forest back on level terms. 1-1. Hudson-Odoi not wanting to count their chickens. Not waste any more time, Forest. They want to add another one. Hudson-Odoi through the lines. Anderson's broke through. Couldn't find the pass. Well blocked. No, Anderson pressing to win it back. Steals it away from Johnson. through the lines, finding Morgan Gibbs-White. Nice flick. On the turn was Moreno, who has his cross blocked, although it's going to be offside, I believe, against Alex Moreno. So much better from Nottingham Forest. They've got the leveller. They've got the momentum of this game now. Now with just over 20 minutes to go, it's definitely game on here at the City Ground for both teams. Still in the balance. Although Forest will have the wind in their sails. Greaves. Nice ball played into the midfield there. Here's Cayuste. Down the left channel. Townsend trying to chase, but Ola Aina committed. Put it out for the throw-in. Johnson. Taylor runs into trouble, although that's given away cheaply by Moreno. Taylor chips it into the box. The header is just over the bar from George Hurst. Good cross. Decent little cross by Jack Taylor. Chipped it across the front post, and beaten was Murillo. And as the header was flicked on, it was just over the bar from George Hurst. Looked more of a threat in the second half from those crosses as Hurst. Already has his goal. Wasn't too far away from adding another. Although here's Morgan Gibbs-White to try and add another for Forest. Alanga's in behind, he's in the box. Got bodies as well. Alanga chips it across. Headed away, clear by Greaves, but still not out of trouble yet. Or Ipswich. Alanga feeding onto the end of Aina's cross, and the flick. Miss hit by Awonyi, as the shot will come from distance. That was always going wide from Elliot Anderson there. They're all over Ipswich when they get forward. As he tried to back heel it there, Awonyi hits his left leg. He was always curling wide, that effort from Elliot Anderson as well. They're starting to really throw everything at the goal now. Or Nottingham Forest. Throwing everything at it. Certainly looking the more threatening of the two sides. The home team. Oh, here's Jack Clark. No, couldn't squeeze that one through to George Hurst. It's well blocked off by Morato. Now Aina charging down the right hand side here. Ola Aina drives in field. Couldn't get the pass off though. Although the press won by Gibbs-White. Aina out to the right flank, finding Alanga. Alanga not in a hurry. Here waiting. Cuts it back to Gibbs-White. Threads it through for Aina. Under real pressure, but Elliot Anderson there to keep it alive. Yates. Gibbs-White. Moreno nips it away from the pressure. And now Callum Hudson-Odoi whipping it into the box. And the header came off ahead. I think it might have been Cayuste. Will be a corner. Yeah, it was nice. Cut inside from Hudson-Odoi. And as he whipped it in, it came off the head of Jens Cayuste. And will be a corner to Nottingham Forest. The crowd are up, their team are up. The momentum's in their favour. Can they find that second goal? Lang get to deliver this corner. Right footed. Up in the air by Murillo. Elliot Anderson across Morato and headed in again by Ryan Yates, although the flag's gonna go up. The City ground almost erupted. See it again. Good delivery by Alanga. Kept alive by Murillo. Then Elliot Anderson flicks it on. And then another flick on into the path of Yates from Morato. I think he was just offside there, Yates. And you just thought it was written in the stars that he would be the one to turn it around. Although, never mind. There was a VAR check, but the decision stands. The correct decision given there as the flag went up from the assistant, Sean Malciellis, on that right-hand side. Got the correct decision. Looked pretty clear in the end. But a good decision because the City ground was ready to explode when that ball went into the back of the nets. But they're knocking on the door. And if I was an Ipswich player or an Ipswich fan, I would have my head in my hands and my eyes hid behind my fingers at the minute. Nervously watching the TV, nervously listening to what's going on. Because at the moment, Forest are up. And Moreno's cross, too easily gathered. Simple enough for Palmer. Hurst on his own here. Takes it down well from Palmer's clearance. Kayusti. There's no doubting Ipswich are still in this game. But at the minute, it's Forest that have the momentum. It's Forest that have that extra bit of energy. You know, we talk all the time about how goals change games. And it's another cliche we hear so often in football, but the reason it is because it's true. Goals do change games, and Kayusta on the verge there. Oh, he's giving it away to Alanga. And now here's Elliot Anderson, rolls it through. Well charged out as Taylor carries it away for Ipswich now. Hurst to make the run in behind. He's up against Morato, and as he tried to spin his way past his Forest centre back, he ended up slipping George Hurst onto the ground. Still opportunities for either side to win this. Most certainly. 13 minutes to go for a winner to be found. Otherwise, we're going to extra time, and Gibbs White threads it through. Aina just a bit short to him. As that clearance by Palmer was a kind of anywhere will do kind of clearance. Forest take the throw in quickly. As I previously mentioned, all three other All-Premier League ties from the FA Cup 5th round have all gone to either extra time or finished by penalties. Gibbs White tried to squeeze it through for Awoniyi, kept alive there by Anderson. Awoniyi battling. The foul is actually going to be given against Nottingham Forest there, as Sam Morsey was going to take it. And now there's going to be a yellow card coming out for a delaying the restart from Forest. Yeah, we'll see it again. It's Darrow O'Shea was involved in the first one. It was Morsey that went down under a challenge from Awoniyi. And as Morsey tried to take the free kick, Elliot Anderson was just in the way of it. And he's going to get a yellow card for delaying the restart there, Elliot Anderson. We see the offside. It's quite clearly offside from Ryan Yates. Certainly wasn't one of those tight ones, but semi-automated offside helping the on-field decision, of which was correct. The on-field decision by the assistant referee. Nice header won by Taylor, although Clark couldn't keep it alive. And there's a little bit of a shirt tug on the back of Morgan Gibbs White by the Ipswich captain Morsey. Free kick to Forest. Taken with no time wasted from Moreno. Elliot Anderson through the lines. Down the left channel. Too short to Alanga. Evades the challenge of Ben Johnson and wins the throw-in. Moreno charged down again by Johnson. Morsey round the corner now. Johnson again. Still, if we're to really talk about it, Ipswich have been on the ropes since Forest scored their leveller, but they're not knocked down yet. They're still breathing. At the moment, barely breathing though, because they've given it away to Forest again. And here's Awonyi arriving into the box, looking for options, looking for a pass. Finds Gibbs White, who shoots, blocked. Kept alive by Yates though. Forest still push and probe for that winner. Anderson, 10 minutes of normal time to go. 1-1. Yates has come on you Reds. Rings around the city grounds. Trying to harass their team into winning. Gibbs White's ball. Just about find Anderson, but he couldn't get a shooting opportunity. Gibbs White wins it back on the edge of the box. Lays it off now to Murillo, who will shoot! Forces a good save off Palmer. It was worth a hit. It was worth the effort. And Murillo wasn't too far away. Certainly knew it, he was. Yeah, it was a good shot and a good save with his left hand there from Alex Palmer. That gets Nottingham Forest a corner. For that though, they're going to make a substitution and they're going to see Taiwo Awonyi make way for the man who certainly knows how to score goals this season, Chris Wood. The goal machine of Nottingham Forest is coming on for the final 8 minutes or so. Try and do what he's always done this season for them and find that goal. Alex Moreno's also going to make way as well, and Nico Williams is going to come on. So 2 straight swaps there with those substitutions. Just change the centre forward and a change at full back for Forest. So this corner from the left hand side will be delivered in a moment. Can they find that goal that can change the game, that can get them through? Alanga's corner taken short. Hudson-Odoi at the edge of the box, trying to curl one. Hits the top of the crossbar. Goodness me. Another near hit from Nottingham Forest. That link up from Alanga and Hudson-Odoi, as good as any in the Premier League. And that one from Hudson-Odoi was as good as any shot we've seen tonight. It just went over the bar. Clipped the top of the crossbar. Might not be over for Ipswich though here with O'Shea. Morsey through the lines, heading Hurst. Charged down by a very energetic Nico Williams there. And I think he might have won his team a throw-in as well, Nico Williams. On the far side. He did. Here he is, Williams. That's what fresh legs can give you, that extra little bit of energy when there is a bit of tired legs from both teams. It could just be the slightest differences, the slightest of advantage. Oh, Nico Williams has crossed there. Didn't find a teammate. Didn't find the head of Connor Townsend either. Straight out for an Ipswich throw on the far side. Foul there on Hurst by Elliot Anderson. A reminder for you as well though, after tonight we have 2 more games over the next 2 nights to bring you as the Champions League returns. The round of 16 gets underway tomorrow night as we're at the Bernabeu as Real Madrid host Atletico Madrid in that Madrid derby. Looking forward to that one tomorrow. as well. We'll update you from Eindhoven, where Arsenal are in action, as well as round up Villa's trip to Bruges as well. As here come Ipswich into the box, bobbling around, kept alive, and Clark shot wide. That's a chance, a very big chance. Long ball by Palmer, spun out to the right side. It's a couple of headers, and as the shot from Hurst is blocked and couldn't hit it cleanly, it falls to Jack Clark. He waits the first time, sends two away, and as he tries to toe poke it to the near corner, he toe pokes it wide. As I was saying, we're at the Bernabeu tomorrow night for that Madrid derby, and then on Wednesday night we're in Paris in the Parc des Princes as the leaders of Ligue 1, PSG, take on the league leaders in the Premier League, Liverpool, on Wednesday evening. That's the round of 16 first leg action this midweek for you here in LFS. We're still not done and dusted here. Under the lights on the banks of the River Trent in Nottingham. We're at the moment, we're heading to extra time as it stands, unless there's some late drama. Gibbs White, 4 minutes of normal time to go. Alanga, Anderson back to Anthony Alanga, linking up with Gibbs White, couldn't return it to Anderson. That was nice work in between the lines from Kayusti, and the through ball here. Clark got a toe to it, but couldn't feed it on to Hurst, and Heine just got enough to get it back to Matt Sells in the Forest goal. Both sides going for it now. I don't think either side wants extra time. Here's Hudson-Odoi down the right side, charging at Townsend, gets the ball forced in, and the clearance headed or put behind by Greaves for a corner. Good delivery by Hudson-Odoi. It was forced into the box, and Greaves had no choice but to try and get it as away from goal. Just stretching to clear the ball. Will be a Nottingham Forest corner on the right hand side. Still 1-1. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Anthony Alanga to take another corner. His 9th of the game. Forest's 9th of the game. Alanga's right-footed delivery, bouncing down, goes all the way through. There's a player, two players down in the box, so we're going to have to stop the game. Bit of a collision of heads here between Ryan Yates, and I couldn't see the. I think it might have been Jacob Greaves of Ipswich. Just kind of collided there as the ball came into the box. And you'll see it again. Yeah, it just kind of clashed as the ball came into the box. Neither really knew very much about it, and Jacob Greaves has a little bit of blood. So we will stop the game for the moment with those two getting treatment. A reminder, the winner of this game will be going to Brighton in the quarter-finals of the competition. A reminder, the quarter-finals will be played at the end of the month, the weekend of the 29th and 30th of March, and we'll have full details of what games we will be doing in a few weeks' time for that. Still 2 minutes of normal time to go. Maybe a little bit more added on at the end, surely, with this stoppage in play. And there's going to be a change up front for Ipswich in a moment, because Liam Delap is ready and waiting to enter the fray. And it might be that the Ipswich goal scorer will be the one that's going to make way. At the moment, both goals were headed goals. I mean, Ryan Yates also headed into the back of the net for a second time, but that was offside, and rightfully offside. So there are and have been opportunities. And Jack Clark's missed chance for Ipswich just a couple of moments ago. They hit cleanly wide. Have been chances to win this for both teams. As we edge closer to the end of normal time, still locked at 1-1. Yates getting some last couple of checks before he returns to the field to play. Jacob Greaves is still on the ground, but he's sitting up, which is good to see. There's no real everlasting trouble there, and it's just kind of the blood as he is off the field now. Greaves, so both players are off for the moment, so both teams down to 10, and the referee will get the restart going here in a moment. And I think he's going to give a drop ball to Forest on the edge of the Ipswich box. Sam Morsey's not happy with it, and he's going to get a yellow card. I think Morgan Gibbs-White is talking to the referee as well. So Morsey's been given a yellow card for, I would guess, arguing with the referee. So he's got a booking. And they have given a drop ball to Forest on the edge of the box. But instantly, Nico Williams, who was getting on the end of that chip ball by Gibbs-White, gives away a free kick. I think you could see that all day long. The referee was going to try and edge. If there was ever a hint of a free kick, he was always going to give it. A drop ball in that sort of position was always awkward to restart a game. And we will have 6 additional minutes at the end of the 90 here. We've played about 50 seconds of that, and we're going to make another change here. As I said, George Hurst is going to make way. Liam Delap is going to come on for the final few minutes, at least of normal time, for Ipswich. As it stands, that won't be the final few minutes of the game. If we don't get another goal, we will be heading to another 30 minutes here under the lights at the City Ground. Say what you like about that. I'm not an extra time fan at the best of times. So why not just go straight to penalties? It solves all that bothering, and it means the players don't have another 30 extra minutes in their legs that they really didn't necessarily need. As the ball won back there by Yates and sent long for a chasing Chris Wood. Cleared away by O'Shea. Yates with a nice ball into Gibbs-White. The referee jumps out of the way of that ball towards Aina. Hudson-Odoi down the right hand side. Ola Aina on the right channel. Not going for the cross right away. Cuts it back. Hudson-Odoi. He doesn't want to go for the cross either. Gibbs-White. Back out wide to Aina. Bodies in the box here for Nottingham Forest. Aina will now go for the cross. Delivered in, but too much. Too deep. Goal kick. Yeah, they took too much time on that cross, Forest. You could see all day that they were trying to get the cross in, but they just took far too much time in trying to deliver it. And then eventually when the delivery did come, it was just not good enough in the end. And I think that might have frustrated Chris Wood in the fact that it took so long for the cross, but also when it did come, he was nowhere near getting on the end of it. 3 minutes of the 6 to go then. Might be a little bit more than the 6 added minutes. That's where we stand at the moment. Anderson battling to win the ball. Alanga steals it away. Wood lays it off now to Yates, who trying to spin one wide for Hudson-Odoi, but that's far too overhit from Ryan Yates. Hands out an apology to Hudson-Odoi there for that misplaced pass. Game still very much in the balance. Bouncing ball cleared away there by Greaves. Morato with a header, linking up with Aina. Morato gives it back to Sells. It gets rid. The ball bounces down into the midfield. Hudson-Odoi jinking away from one. Finds the space. For Elliot Anderson now to Murillo. Bodies flooding forward. Here is Gibbs-White. Looking for options. Sea of blue in his way as he tried to thread it through there. Given away. Well won back though by Nico Williams. Murillo. Stepping away from trouble was Yates, but Liam Delap a little bit too eager to win the ball back there, and a free kick given to Nottingham Forest. In a good area. Yeah, it was just a bit needless from Liam Delap, really. Just comes climbing all round Ryan Yates there. Just really no need for that. And there's a free kick about, if I had to take a guess, about 32 yards. If I had to really take a wild guess at it, about 30 yards. And Marilla was going to have a shot at this, I think, because he's standing over it. Although he's not, he's going to clip it into the box, which Townsend ultimately cleanly deals with. But it will be a throw-in to Nottingham Forest on the right-hand side. For a second there, I thought Murillo, he's going to go at this, he's going to hit this. I think the smart decision was taken not to hit it. He had a shot from a decent area a bit earlier on, similar area, about 25 yards out. And that was well saved by Alex Palmer. A long throw-in coming here for Ola Aina on the right side. Last minute of the 6. Aina, long throw into the box. Palmer wasn't in nowhere. Wolfenden got it away, only as far as Williams though. Alive on the edge of the box. Gibbs White. Round the corner, finds Alanga. Chipped it into the middle, but far too close to Alex Palmer. He tries to set Jack Clark on a run, but Elliot Anderson with fabulous covering. Clark in a bit of a collision with Anderson there. He's still down, but I think he's going to give it the free kick there, the referee, for a little bit of a clumsy challenge. And there it is. The whistle goes. That was anticlimactic. Looked like he was going to give a free kick, but in the end, that's the end of normal time. And once again, in all of our old Premier League ties in the FA Cup, they've all headed to extra time at least. We're heading to extra time here at the City Ground. After 90 minutes, it's Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich 1. welcome back to FA Cup Live this Monday evening as we get ready for extra time at the City Ground. Locked at 1-1 after 90 minutes are Nottingham Forest and Ipswich, and another 30 minutes to come. 2 15-minute halves to decide a winner. If we're still level after extra time, we will head to a penalty shootout. We've had 2 penalty shootouts this weekend. Bournemouth and Fulham emerging victorious in those respective shootouts. Just one of our 8 sides, one of our 7 previous winners of round 5, one after extra time. That was, of course, Brighton winning in extra time against Newcastle at St James's Park yesterday. And Forest have come through this before, going all the way to penalties in round 4 against Exeter City. So it's not something new to Nottingham Forest this season. It is new to Ipswich, though. At least this campaign, obviously. Coming through in their last 2 FA Cup rounds, of round 3 and round 4, winning by 3 goals on both occasions. 3-0 against Bristol Rovers and 4-1 away at Coventry in round 4. Long throw in here. Kayusta, first attack of the first half of extra time, cleared away by Forest. Hudson-Odoi in the tussle. Here is Taylor. His shot was charged down. Morsey delivers it back wide as Aina, tracked by Jack Clark, and Aina kept it in play but couldn't keep it out of the sidelines, and throw into Ipswich down the left side. I think Kayusta's going to go up for another one of those long throws, this time from the left hand side. Here he goes, Kayusta into the box, flecked on, bouncing down, cleared away by Gibbs White there. And all of a sudden, ending that the normal time, Nottingham Forest the better side. Ipswich started the better of the 2 teams in extra time. Yates gets a bit muddled up. Kayusta finds Morsey. Down the left goes Townsend, whose cross was blocked by Ryan Yates. Out for another Ipswich throw-in. And do let us know in the chat if you've got an opinion on the game. Any feelings about what might happen in extra time as that long throw going in. Cleared away by Forest again, as Morsey tries to threaten Forest at the back. Again, it's cleared away, but not very far. As Clark gave it away there in midfield. Wood finding Callum Hudson-Odoi wide on the right side here. And Forest looking to have a little bit of possession to try and re-establish their momentum in the game, which they haven't started the extra time with, that they ended the end of normal time with. Elliot Anderson tried through the ball over the top, but nowhere near a target. Easily recovered by Alex Palmer. Greaves under pressure from Hudson-Odoi. Palmer heads it back to Greaves and now finds Townsend. That was good work from Ipswich under pressure. Kayusta breaking into midfield. Run into Elliot Anderson, but did somehow, while he was on the ground, flick that one out wide to Jack Clark. Here is Clark. Back across. Sam Morsey beats one man, has the shot! And it was gone wide. I thought that was going to be it. Clark did really, really well, finding his captain free of space on the edge of the box It thought he was going to shoot the first time with his right foot. So did Morato. He committed, was beaten by the chop back by Morsey. And as he shoots with the outside of his right boot, completely hits it wide. That was a big moment. Here come Forest though. Gibbs White. Alanga cross. Far too deep. Sliced it. Kind of saying that he sliced it there with the way he gestured there. Anthony Alanga. Knew he didn't get the right hit on the ball. There's no doubting the quality of the forward line of Nottingham Forest in this extra time, with Chris Wood, their top scorer, Gibbs White, the midfield magician, and then the two wonderful wide players in Hudson-Odoi and Alanga. They've got an abundance of attacking quality, but Ipswich are their own, having some really good attacking quality off the bench, as Yates has given a yellow card there for a foul on Jack Clark around about the halfway line. There's Ipswich fans, the lighter of the two at the moment. Still on a knife edge. Breeze to Morsey. Switching it out to the right hand side. Brought down well by Johnson. Run into trouble though. There's Elliot Anderson, although Alanga's given it away cheaply. Cross delivered. Too deep. Townsend will chest it down around the edge of the box. Clark now. Was he offside? Flag stayed down. Looked like he had just strayed offside there, Clark, but he kept himself onside as Morsey delivers into the box. Way by Murillo. Kept alive by Delap, who was absolutely body checked. The referee's going to play advantage, although he's going to pull it back now. There was no advantage. Liam Delap was absolutely, completely kind of cascaded out of the way by Murillo. Completely body checked. Certainly made sure Liam Delap knew he was there. And it's going to be a free kick to Ipswich on the edge of the box. Might have felt the effects of his own challenge there, Murillo, as well. Jack Taylor and Connor Townsend are the two over this free kick. Dangerous area. Level with the edge of the D. Bit to the right hand side. Will be Townsend who will take, and the shot comfortably into the hands of Matt Sells in the Forest goal. Got round the wall, but again, simple enough for Sells, who positioned himself perfectly and had a comfortable save in the end. Here is Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs White gives it back to Murillo, who steps in past Delap. Tries to swing one out wide, but that was way too overhit towards Anthony Alanga. Just a little bit of fatigue creeping into Nottingham Forest, and of course we expect it in extra time. That's what we see so often. I gotta be honest, I don't want to start a rant on extra time, but that's why I don't like it. That's why I think it's just pointless. I mean, it's just another 30 minutes of what? Watching players get a bit tired, a bit fatigued. Although here comes Alanga, he's not fatigued or tired. And here comes Morgan Gibbs White. His effort charged down really well in the Ipswich box there. We'll see it again. Bursting away was Alanga. Gibbs White with him, and Gibbs White charging towards the box, and as he arrives, over came Wolfenden, who got the clearance for the throw-in. Ola Aina will take this long throw, right hand side. Into the box it goes. Headed away to the edge. Elliot Anderson takes the touch. Couldn't take the shot, took too long. Although Murillo came in and won cleanly. Here is Sells. So we are about to hit the 100 minutes. Of course, 15 minutes either half, so about 5 minutes of the first half of extra time to go. Still 1-1. Murato finding Aina. Langa staring down the face of a number of Ipswich players in his way there as Forest switched the sides. Murillo down the left hand side now. Space for Hudson-Odoi, who can drive towards the box. Link it up with Anderson. Dragged it away from his marker. Out wide with Gibbs. Wide as the ball comes in. Headed away by Townsend. And away by Clark. Kept alive though with Aina. Now Alanga. Infield to Gibbs-White, who will swing the ball in, and the header from Wood is off target. Again, it was an interesting cross from Gibbs-White. Had the whip on it. The pace wasn't really there. And Wood had to try and generate that power and pace. Ends up not getting the shot on target because of that. And that was another opportunity not taken. Yates. Aina. Gibbs-White goes back the way. Murato to Gibbs-White again. Alanga. Keeping the ball moving, Forest. Yates under pressure from Delap. Does well to get it back. And Aina finding the run of Gibbs-White. Space here. Look at the gap for Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi looking for the shot. Took too long. And O'Shea with a block. Gibbs-White keeps it alive though. Murillo. Down the left hand side comes Nico Williams. Tiptoeing his way into the box. Gets the cross in. Cleared away. Hudson-Odoi has the shot. Goes wide. Another one. After another one. Lovely work by Nico Williams. Gets the cross in. It's cleared away by Wolfenden with a diving header, and it's only as far as Hudson-Odoi takes the touch, opens his body up, and the shot not enough curl on it to find it anywhere near the net. There's a couple of those decent efforts from Forest in the last few minutes. Certainly ending the half of the first half of extra time, the stronger of the two sides at the minute are Forest. Still 1-1. Gibbs-White. Lovely little looper. And it was dipping to Hudson-Odoi, and O'Shea had to take action and head it behind for the corner. It was smart from Gibbs-White. He knew even if his man didn't get on the end of it, that the defender had to take action, and they get a corner out of that situation, Nottingham Forest. Nothing more O'Shea could do than just to head it out for the corner. Come on, you Reds is sung round again. Alanga with the 10th corner for Nottingham Forest. Right-footed delivery. Oh, it was deep. But it was too high. If it was just a little bit lower, if it dipped a little bit earlier, it could have been a threat. But Alanga's cross was just too high for Murillo, who was lurking at the back post. Wood was causing trouble as well there. But in the end, the cross didn't dip in time and went behind for a goal kick. Last minute of the first 15 of extra time. Palmer kicks long from the goal kick. Kicked on by Taylor. Kayusti. His ball forward. Mopped up by Murillo. Back to Sells. Has space to find Aina, but overhit. As Townsend had the header, but brought down by Yates. Turned around by Wood, cleared away. Yates there battling and tussling, although he lost that battle to Delap. Now Taylor, bit short, gives it away, and Johnson was committed. But here's Nico Williams, cascading down the left-hand side. Infield to Gibbs-White, who will shoot. By Morgan, Gibbs-White's shot well over the bar. And there is the end of the first half of extra time. No added time at the end of the first half of ET. And after 15 minutes, it's still the status quo. It's still Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich 1. Second half of extra time on the way in just a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back to FA Cup Live. Second half of extra time on the way in just a moment. Here at the City Ground, it's still 1-1 between Nottingham Forest and Ipswich in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Both looking to book their place in the quarter-finals, but only one can get there. 7 teams decided, 1 to come from these 2 teams tonight. And if we need to go all the way, we will, to try and find a winner. 15 minutes of extra time to go, and then it will be down to penalties if we're still locked at 1-1 or level come that point. As the players get ready to line up for the start of the second half of extra time. Forest, despite a slow start to the extra time, they certainly had a good 10-minute spell in that first half, in which they were posing threats, were troubling the defence of Ipswich, and looked more likely to get the winner, but nothing to show for that at this moment in time. A couple of efforts from distance, which I was interested to really watch in that first half of extra time. Eyeing up for a couple more of the longer range efforts as Alanga with the first attack of the half. Battling with Johnson. And Ben Johnson did well there, marshalling to see it out for a goal kick. Palmer plays it out to Wolfenden, who sees his ball flicked on by Clark, but to no one but Ola Aina, who retrieves for Nottingham Forest. Alanga. Back the way of Murato. Murillo. to Nico Williams. Space to go forward here. Into Gibbs White. Finds one out wide to Alanga. Goes for the cross. Wood was lurking. Cleared away by Greaves. Palmer was a bit unsure whether to come for that cross or not. Didn't matter. His defender got there first. Alanga. Gibbs White to Murillo. And it looks like Forest are returning to the threats they had in the first half of extra time as Williams' cross right the way through the 6-yard box. It was a fierce cross by Nico Williams. Nice ball in behind by Alanga, finding the underlapping run of Nico Williams, and first time fizzed ball across with his left foot across the 6-yard box, and as no one was there lurking. Wood was in the box, but he wasn't close enough to that cross. It went out the other end for a throw-in. Here come Forest again. Hudson Odoi. Aina with a delivery. Too short. Wolfenden clears. Yates on the turn to keep it alive. Aina down the right side. Whips one in. Headed away by Greaves. It's defence v attack at the moment. It's Forest on the offensive. It's Ipswich trying to hold on. Elliot Anderson. Yates. Aina. Hudson Odoi trying to squeeze it through, calls a handball, nothing seen by the referee as Liam Delap gets a break of the ball. A nice sped past Murillo, and Liam Delap is charging through. Liam Delap goes all the way through, brought down. The referee sees no issue as Forest get the ball back. Referee thought Liam Delap wasn't touched, or at least wasn't fouled. But the Ipswich players, I think, disagreed. Morato got absolutely sent by Delap initially around about the halfway line, and he charged forward. But in the end, the referee saw no issue, and VAR were having a quick look, but they have agreed with the on-field decision of no foul against Liam Delap. Oh, that's not good from Palmer. Although Greaves was a bit lucky that the pass by Hudson Odoi was straight at him, because he was sold down the river by his keeper. There was Jacob Greaves with that awful out ball. A bit of nerves creeping into Ipswich there defensively. Hudson Odoi. Yates. Just over 10 minutes of extra time to go. Aina to deliver. Whipped in. Away by O'Shea. And took a deflection on the way through as well from O'Shea's clearance. It will be a Forest throw anyway. On the right side. Aina linking up with Elliot Anderson. Wide again to Ola Aina. Goes for the cross. Blocked by Jack Clark, who was dropping in down that left side. And another Forest throw. Oh, they will make a change at the moment. The home side. It's going to see Anthony Alanga make way for Jota Silva. To Anthony Alanga, who's been the set-piece taker for Nottingham Forest tonight. He's going to make way. And Jota Silva is going to be coming on. The 25-year-old Portuguese joined Forest in August of last year from Vitória, and is coming on to add an extra bit of an impact and some fresh legs for Forest in attack, as they're on the front foot and chasing the winner. Aina goes short on the throw-in. Gibbs White back to Aina. Anderson, low cross, kept alive, but Ipswich got it away, although Clark spinning himself into trouble. Went down, no foul, said the referee. Aina. Gibbs White back to Ola Aina. Gibbs White trying to link up with Anderson. Blocked. Yates. Williams back to Murillo. Now Morato. Infield to Murillo. Wide to Ola Aina. Down the right hand side it comes. Here's Jota Silva. Blocked by Townsend, and Aina committed. won the challenge. Jota Silva kept it in play, battling with Townsend, who went down and is gonna be given a free kick. Looked a bit theatrical there from Connor Townsend. See it again. And we'll see an earlier chance here. The handball call from a bit earlier on. See this Liam Delap moment again. He was charging through. Yeah, there was nothing in that. Nothing at all. Murillo dangled a leg, but it was Liam Delap that initiated the contact. There was absolutely nothing in that. Referee maybe could have given simulation and a free kick for that, but he didn't. That's what I would have gone for. I'm not a referee, though. Delap picks up the ball here in midfield. Ipswich not giving up. They want to win this now. Ben Johnson down the right side. Cuts it back for O'Shea. Body's in the box. O'Shea's cross. Headed away from danger by Murillo. But Greaves keeps it alive down the left. Hounded by Chris Wood, but he's kept it in play. No, he hasn't. Jacob Greaves. A decision which he argues might be a bit of an issue here for Murillo. He's left with a bit of an issue. Made a bit of pain after jumping up to win a ball. Murillo should be okay to continue. He is in pain on the field there. Not enough for not to continue. Here he is, Murillo. 6.5 minutes. He's fit enough to charge forward here and plays a nice ball just a bit short towards Nico Williams. It was close, but no cigar, as they say, as Williams does well to win it back. And that sort of challenge has got the crowd bouncing again. Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs White, back to Hudson-Odoi in the box, cuts it across, and the shot is agonisingly wide from Jota Silva. That was much, much more incisive from Nottingham Forest. One touch passing, and Jota Silva with a touch on the inside with his right. The shot with his left, it just went wide of the post. Another close call for Ipswich defensively, but another one gone a begging for Nottingham Forest. Is there just an inevitability to penalties? Or will there be a winner in extra time? It's more than enough time for that to still be the case. 5.5 minutes to be exact. Here's Ola Aina down the right side. Looking one over the top. Greaves got something on that, and clearance in the midfield there by Morsey, I believe that wasn't particularly convincing, because here's Hudson-Odoi down the left side for Nico Williams, trying to find a way through. Cuts it back to Elliot Anderson. 5 minutes to go. Here's Hudson-Odoi, rolls it through. Williams in the box. Williams trying to cut it across. Well blocked in there by Cayusti, and in the end Ben Johnson will just deal with it, although that's given away cheaply by O'Shea as Hudson-Odoi's cross was low and cleared away by Cayusti again for Nottingham Forest to get the throw in. There's no doubt in extra time Nottingham Forest have been the aggressor, have been the more positive of the two teams, the more likely to win this game in extra time, but Ipswich have held out so far. Nico Williams goes short with the throw in to Hudson-Odoi. Into the box is Elliot Anderson, not going for the cross. Hudson-Odoi will though, curling round, cleared away. Murillo hits his own man, and now there's space for Ipswich if they want to break. Delap on the turn, he's got Clark ahead of him. Delap now finds Clark down the left channel, not in a massive hurry to come forward here, or Ipswich, and Clark ends up buying the free kick. That's smart play from Jack Clark. He turned back on himself and knew the challenge was going to come from Murillo. And he bought that free kick very smartly. Yeah, Murillo had the effort on the edge of the box, and he hit his own man and his captain, Ryan Yates, on the back with that effort. He had one earlier that was well saved by Alex Palmer. Now a free kick here for Ipswich. Connor Townsend over it. Whipped in. Far too much. All that for that. All the build-up for just to be completely overhit and out for a goal kick. Three minutes of extra time. You just feel at this late stage the penalties are inevitable. But you never know. Maybe that's the excitement kind of tricking me, although that's an interesting decision by the officials. Certainly by the referee. Ryan Yates is a bit bemused by that. A free kick for Ipswich. I think it might have been handball or a foul on Sam Morsey, one of the two. Didn't look like there was anything in it. And Ryan Yates is on a yellow. If it was handball, it should have been a second yellow, but the officials, I think at this point the referees is in the same boat as a few. Just wants this to be over at this stage. It gets to this point in a game, 118th minute, and it gets to a point where you're kind of like, just finish the game at this point. As Chris Wood wins a free kick in the edge of his own box there for Forest. See this again, why the free kick was given. I mean, if the referee has spotted a foul there, how has he not spotted the handball? I mean, it looked like Ryan Yates just lifted his left arm to get the ball. If that's not a deliberate handball, I don't know what is. The referee was right there. He certainly spotted something. Very strange decision by the referee. Anyway, throw into Forest. 90 seconds of the 120 minutes we've played are remaining before a penalty shootout will be needed if we're still level in a minute's time. Hudson-Odoi with a cross. It's Wolfenden that clears it, but can only clear it as far as a corner. This might be the Forest moments. Their 11th corner. All of the 10 previous corners were taken by Anthony Alanga. This will be the first one not taken by the Englishman. It will be Elliot Anderson to take on this left-hand side. Right-footed delivery. Oh! Hits the roof of the net. It was almost a direct shot from a corner there from Elliot Anderson. It was that deep, got that much curl on it, might have caught the wind as it was in the air, and it was always going behind for a corner, or a goal kick, sorry, off the roof of the nets. And now they'll be planning their penalty takers, both benches, and certainly the feeling there from Kieran McKenna. It looked like he was looking at a notepad with a few names on it. Of course, this will be predetermined, as we will have one added minute then at the end of extra time. One more minute for a winner to be found. And this is the point in the game where you do not want to make a mistake. You don't want the game to be decided by a mistake you've made. It's maybe just now they'll shake hands and accept penalties, the two teams. You would never do that when there's still a chance of winning. At the minute, as I said a few minutes ago, it looked like there was a bit of an inevitability about penalties. You feel that sometimes watching extra time. It's not that neither side want to win, you just feel like the chances being made, they're just not going to go in. It's just always destined to go to penalties when it gets to this late stage in a game. As whether that's a bit of gamesmanship or it's a genuine pulling up of cramp. And there's no more time to play. Penalties it is then, here at the City Ground. It will be spot kicks to decide the winner for the 8th and final place in this season's FA Cup quarter-finals. We'll have the penalty shootout here at the City Ground when we come back. Do stay with us. Welcome back to FA Cup Live. It's a penalty shootout at the City Ground to decide the winner between Nottingham Forest and Ipswich. The toss is underway. Forest win the toss. They will play it at the end where their home fans are. And it looks like Forest might be taking first, I think. Well, yesterday, the same happened at Old Trafford, where Manchester United won the toss in both occasions, getting the right end for their fans and also taking first, and they lost the shootout to the visitors yesterday, so who knows? I mean, I'm clutching at straws. It's a shootout. It's 50-50. It could go either way. It's really potluck for the two teams now, as the referee just reiterates the rules to both keepers. When Alex Palmer remembers he's in a penalty shootout there. I think he kind of forgot for a second. He's a goalkeeper and he's in a penalty shootout. The referee, Tony Arrington, just talking to both Matt Sells and Alex Palmer about the penalties, about getting off the line and all that type of thing that is a custom in a shootout. The hero yesterday of Bernd Leno, making 2 penalty saves to put Fulham through and knock out the holders. Is there going to be a hero in the name of a goalkeeper here, or an enemy in the name of a missed penalty taker for one of these two teams? It's going to be Forest to take first. It's going to be Chris Wood to step up. Pretty much incredible this season in front of goal, Chris Wood. A real revelation. Incredible season he's had. And now with a chance to try and give Forest a great start in the shootout with their first penalty. Chris Wood to step up for Nottingham Forest. 18 Premier League goals this season. Chris Wood stepping up and rifling it in. Lovely penalty. The pure power and pace behind that shot. Palmer dived the right way, but that was some fierce effort by Chris Wood. Sam Morsey, the Ipswich captain, is ready to step up for Ipswich. He's taking his time. The boos ring out around the stadium, especially from the fans behind that goal, trying to put off the Ipswich captain. Matt Sells, one of the goalkeepers of the season in the Premier League. Can he reignite his name tonight? Sam Morsey scores for Ipswich. Levels in the shootout. That's a lovely penalty. Sells dived the wrong way. Morsey put it in the opposite corner of the nets. Got a bit of height behind it. That was a calm, composed penalty from Sam Morsey. Morgan Gibbs-White is next for Nottingham Forest. Another one of their top performers, another one of their substitutes tonight. He's had 5 Premier League goals this season, Morgan Gibbs-White. And trying to give Forest the lead once again in the shootout. 1 apiece. Gibbs-White stepping up against Palmer. Not much of a run-up, he's taking his time. Little run-up, and a lovely penalty. Really nice. Again, for the second time, Palmer dives the right way. But the quality of the penalty is what beats the Ipswich keeper. Kind of a dinker of a penalty. Little bit of height behind it. And into the far right corner. That was lovely from Gibbs-White. And now, Liam Delap is going to step up for Ipswich to try and level the game again. Delap off the bench. Certainly their top scorer this season with 10 Premier League goals. And trying to keep Ipswich matching Forest in this shootout. It's 2-1 at the moment, with Ipswich to take their second. Liam Delap is the one that's over it. Steps up, and a wonderful penalty. I mean, Matt Sells dived the wrong way again. That's a wonderful effort. Low, hard, right into the bottom left corner. That's a confident penalty from Liam Delap. 2-2. The nerves continue to jangle in this stadium for both the home and the away fans. And now it's Elliot Anderson to step up for Forest for their 3rd penalty. Palmer's dived the right way on the last 2. But the quality of the penalties, as I said, took it past him. Elliot Anderson stepping up. Eyes gazing on where he wants to put it. And gives them the lead again. Another laser-focused take by Elliot Anderson there. Goes to the left-hand side. Right in the corner, like Liam Delap. Again, Palmer dives the right way. But he can dive the right way all night. But he can't get a hand to them at the minute. Next up for Ipswich is going to be Jens Kajuste. All 5 penalties taken so far have been scored. Jens Kajuste stepping up for Ipswich to try and make it 3 out of 3 and 6 out of 6 in the shootout. Kajuste. Oh, lovely right down the middle. Again, Sells diving. Right out of the way of that one. 3-3. Yeah. Not quite right down the middle, a little bit to the right, but again, Matt Sells dives so far to the left, he was nowhere to be seen. Next stop for Forest is going to be Nico Williams, another one of their substitutes. Might that be a theme? All of Forest's penalty takers so far have been substitutes in this game. Nico Williams, the 4th of which, he's going to step up to try and give Forest the lead in the shootout again. This is where United fluffed it up yesterday. Nico Williams to give Forest the lead again. Stepping up and scores. Really top quality penalty from Nico Williams. And Forest back in front again. Every time they step up with sheer confidence in their abilities. Sheer confidence in their penalty taking. Next up, Ben Johnson for Ipswich. Hasn't scored for the club. Johnson to step up to level in the shootout. Does so. Top quality. Absolutely effortless there from Ben Johnson. He looked a little bit nervous on the way up, but the penalty was far from nervous. That was a lovely penalty. This time Sells dived the right way, but the height there was just far too good. Now, this is where it gets to the most serious of moments. You miss now, and you gift the other team a chance to win it. But if we see both penalties scored or both missed, sudden death is coming. Hudson-Odoi for Forest to make it 5 out of 5 in the shootout. Hudson-Odoi does so. Alex Palmer dived out of the way of it, and Hudson-Odoi completes 5 out of 5 for Forest. It's now all pressure on Ipswich. Score and they send it to sudden death, but miss, and they are out of the FA Cup. And all that pressure put on to Jack Taylor. He is the one that could make the difference. He's got all the pressure on his shoulders. The 10th penalty in the shootout. The previous 9 have all been scored. Score and he sends it to sudden death, but miss. And they're out. Taylor. Saved by Sells. Nottingham Forest are through. Ipswich are out of the FA Cup. And Matt Sells, who was nowhere near any of the previous 4, makes the save count when he needed to. And saved the best for last. And Nottingham Forest knock Ipswich out of the FA Cup from 1-0 down to winning in the shootout with the last kick of them all. And Nottingham Forest's run in the FA Cup once again ends and continues in penalty delight. Round 4, they knocked out Exeter. This time it was a bit more difficult against Ipswich in the shootouts. They scored all 5 of theirs, and their goalkeeper, Matt Sells, made the save on Ipswich's 5th to knock them out of the FA Cup. And Jack Taylor is the one that will feel the heartbreak, will feel the pain of the moments. And he, and his missed penalty, or his penalty that was saved, shall we say, knocks Ipswich out of the FA Cup. Forest are through, and they will face Brighton in the quarter-finals. Nuno goes mad, as does the whole of the City ground, who've been waiting all night to erupt, and they eventually do. And celebrations long into the night, as they're into the last 8 of the FA Cup. Ipswich's run ends at the 5th round. For the second time this century, they are yet to get to the quarter-finals in the 21st century. But Kieran McKenna's side gave it a good go at one of the toughest grounds in the Premier League, in the country, probably in Europe at the moment. And his side took them all the way to penalties just to face heartbreak. Final score in the FA Cup 5th round here at the City Grounds. It's finished. Nottingham Forest 1, Ipswich 1 after extra time. Nottingham Forest through after a 5-4 win on penalties. And that is that. So, the 5th round done, dusted and decided. Here we are. Let's bring you the classified results of the 5th round as we bring them to you. Aston Villa are through after 2-0 win over Cardiff. Palace beat Millwall by 3-1. Preston 3-0 winners against Burnley. Bournemouth took Wolves all the way to penalties and knocked them out on penalties. Manchester City 3-1 winners against Plymouth. Brighton with a Extra time winner away at Newcastle to win 2-1. Fulham, penalty delight as they knocked out the holders Manchester United. And for the second time this season, Nottingham Forest are heading through in the FA Cup through a penalty shootout. That is the last 8. Villa, Palace, Preston, Bournemouth, Manchester City, Brighton, Fulham and Nottingham Forest. This FA Cup is wide open this season. Anybody could win it. And that is what makes the quarterfinals ever so exciting. Let's have a look at the draw then. So, disregard Ipswich, they're right now. So it's Fulham Palace, Preston Villa, Bournemouth Manchester City, and now Brighton against Nottingham Forest in the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals will take place at the weekend of the 29th and 30th of March, so about 4 weeks away from the last 8 of the FA Cup. And we will bring those last 8 games to you on the 29th and 30th of March, over that weekend. Anyway, still to come this week, though, we have Champions League knockout action as Real Madrid host Atletico Madrid in a Madrid derby of the round of 16 tomorrow, 8 o'clock. The first leg of the Champions League round of 16 gets underway. That's it from us tonight. It's penalty delight under the lights of the City Ground on the banks of the River Trent in Nottingham. And Forest have knocked out fellow Premier League side Ipswich. Night night.